Rivers was analyzing animal behavior when she discovered a bioterror operation. Organized pathogen development, systematic genetic engineering, multiple research programs. 14 years of biological threat background immediately recognized the operation. This is a major bioweapon facility, she said, and they're using agriculture as cover. Before we dive into this incredible story, tell us in the comments which city you're watching from today. And if this story moves you, make sure to subscribe because tomorrow I have something very special planned for you. Green Valley Organic Farm sprawled across 800 acres of rolling countryside in rural Iowa, its pristine pastures and modern facilities representing the kind of sustainable agriculture that attracted environmentally conscious consumers, agricultural researchers, and investors who valued both ecological responsibility and innovative farming techniques. At 7:30 a.m. on a Thursday morning, the farm maintained the industrious atmosphere that successful organic operations cultivated to meet growing demand for sustainable food production. Dr. Sage Earth Rivers had been working at the farm for 15 months, ever since she transitioned from her high-stress federal career to seek work that connected her to natural cycles while utilizing her scientific background in a more peaceful context than her previous profession had provided. At 42, she discovered genuine satisfaction in sustainable farming practices that enhanced soil health, supported animal welfare, and contributed to environmentally responsible food systems. The farm operated with cutting-edge methods, rotational grazing systems that maintained pasture health, integrated pest management that minimized chemical inputs, advanced breeding programs that enhanced livestock genetics, and research partnerships with agricultural universities that helped develop innovative sustainable farming techniques. Sage approached every aspect of farm management with systematic precision that colleagues attributed to advanced agricultural education and natural aptitude for understanding complex biological systems. Her animal husbandry techniques were sophisticated, her crop rotation knowledge was extensive, and her ability to diagnose and treat various agricultural challenges had quickly established her as one of the farm's most valuable employees. What colleagues and farm management didn't realize was that Sage's approach to analyzing biological systems, understanding disease patterns, and recognizing genetic modifications had been shaped by 14 years as a CDC biodefense specialist focusing on biological threat assessment and infectious disease control for national security applications. Her federal background had involved investigating potential biological weapons programs, analyzing genetic modifications that could enhance pathogen virulence, coordinating with international agencies to monitor biological threat activities, and understanding how agricultural systems could be exploited for biological weapons development or bioterrorism attacks against food supplies. Recognizing the difference between natural genetic variation and artificial modification, understanding how pathogens could be cultivated and weaponized, and identifying facilities that appeared to conduct agricultural research while actually developing biological weapons were skills that had been central to her national security work. During her first year at Green Valley Farm, Sage had worked with hundreds of animals and observed numerous agricultural processes without her biodefense training triggering any particular concerns about the farming methods or research activities she encountered. However, during recent months, she'd begun observing patterns in animal health and facility operations that were activating investigative instincts she'd assumed were dormant. The livestock exhibited genetic characteristics that Sage immediately recognized from her CDC experience as indicators of deliberate, systematic genetic modification rather than typical selective breeding. Multiple species displayed traits suggesting intentional engineering aimed at enhancing specific biological functions, traits that went beyond standard agricultural objectives and appeared to serve experimental or specialized purposes. Even more concerning were the health patterns these animals exhibited. Several groups showed symptoms that Sage's 14 years of disease control had taught her to associate with experimental pathogen exposure, controlled viral infections, and carefully monitored disease progression patterns more consistent with biological research or potential weaponization than conventional veterinary care. These anomalies, combined with the unusual breeding traits, signaled to Sage that the facility was conducting highly specialized, potentially hazardous genetic and biological experiments rather than routine livestock management. The farm's research facilities also displayed characteristics that raised concerns. Laboratory equipment was more sophisticated than typical agricultural research required, biosafety protocols exceeded normal farming standards, and access controls suggested activities that required higher security than organic farming typically demanded. Most significantly, Sage had observed coordination between the farm and external researchers that seemed inconsistent with sustainable agriculture objectives. Visitors were conducting activities that appeared to focus on pathogen cultivation, genetic modification techniques, and biological system manipulation that extended far beyond legitimate agricultural research. The timing and secrecy surrounding certain farm operations also suggested systematic coordination rather than routine agricultural activities. Specific research projects were conducted during limited access periods, biological samples were handled with unusual security measures, and communication about certain projects was restricted in ways that indicated activities requiring operational security. Sage began documenting the evidence she was encountering while maintaining her agricultural duties, applying analytical skills that had been central to her CDC work but adapting them to civilian circumstances that required careful discretion to avoid alerting potential bioweapons researchers to federal interest. The genetic modification evidence was becoming undeniable. Multiple animal species were showing characteristics that Sage's biodefense training had taught her to recognize as systematic genetic engineering designed to enhance pathogen transmission, increase disease virulence, or create biological delivery systems that could be weaponized. More sophisticated was the apparent cultivation of pathogens that suggested systematic biological weapons development rather than agricultural disease research. The farm was maintaining cultures and conducting experiments that matched operational methods used by biological weapons programs that Sage had encountered during her federal investigations. The facility infrastructure also showed features that her CDC experience had taught her to associate with biological weapons research: specialized containment systems, advanced genetic sequencing equipment, and biological processing capabilities that exceeded legitimate agricultural research requirements. While matching bioweapons development needs, Sage's federal training had exposed her to numerous cases where biological weapons programs used agricultural facilities as cover operations, and the evidence she was gathering suggested Green Valley Farm was serving as a sophisticated bioweapons research facility disguised as sustainable agriculture. The coordination between different research projects also indicated organized rather than independent activities. Multiple biological modification programs were being conducted simultaneously, suggesting comprehensive biological weapons development that could produce various types of biological agents for different operational purposes. Most troubling was evidence that the biological agents being developed had characteristics that made them suitable for bioterrorism attacks against agricultural systems, food supplies, or human populations, indicating potential threats to both national security and public health. Sage realized she was witnessing systematic biological weapons development that required immediate federal intervention. Her 14 years of CDC biodefense experience had taught her both the legal obligations and proper protocols for reporting biological threat activities while maintaining operational security that wouldn't compromise ongoing investigations. Her first concern was national security and public health. Biological weapons development posed catastrophic threats to agricultural systems, food security, and human populations, and the systematic nature of activities at Green Valley suggested well-organized and well-funded bioweapons programs. This is Dr. Sage Rivers, former CDC Biodefense Specialist Clearance Level TS/SCI, retired 2021. She said when connected to the FBI WMD Directorate, "I have systematic biological weapons development at agricultural facility in Iowa. Multiple pathogen cultivation, genetic modification programs, probable bioterrorism preparation." The response from federal authorities was immediate and comprehensive. FBI WMD Coordinator Special Agent Jennifer Walsh coordinated with Sage within hours, recognizing both the significance of her observations and the unique expertise she could provide for understanding biological weapons development and threat assessment. "Sage, your CDC background makes you invaluable for analyzing this threat," Agent Walsh explained during their secure briefing. "We need someone with your expertise who has direct access to the biological weapons research and can help us understand their development methods and target objectives while ensuring public safety." Working with active federal agents, Sage helped analyze what appeared to be a sophisticated biological weapons program that was using agricultural cover to develop multiple types of biological agents for potential bioterrorism attacks against American agricultural systems and civilian populations. "Your observations suggest this program has been developing for over 3 years," Agent Walsh told Sage during their operational planning. "The sophistication of genetic modification and the systematic nature of pathogen cultivation indicates this is a major biological threat requiring comprehensive federal response." Sage found herself continuing her agricultural work while simultaneously serving as an undercover asset for federal authorities investigating the biological weapons program. Her legitimate employment provided perfect cover for gathering intelligence, while her CDC expertise enabled her to analyze biological threat evidence that untrained investigators might miss. Your position gives us unprecedented access to biological weapons research and development activities, Agent Walsh explained. We need someone who can assess the pathogen cultivation methods, identify the target applications, and help us understand the complete biological weapons program without alerting the researchers to federal biodefense interest. The intelligence gathering phase required SAGE to balance routine farm duties with systematic analysis of biological weapons evidence while building detailed profiles of the research program's capabilities and intentions. Her federal training enabled her to recognize patterns and gather evidence without compromising the biodefense investigation. SAGE's analysis revealed that the Iowa biological weapons program was more extensive than initially suspected. The research facility was developing multiple types of biological agents, had established connections with international bioweapons networks, and was preparing biological weapons that could target both agricultural systems and human populations. They're developing approximately 12 different biological agents simultaneously, SAGE reported to the investigation team. This includes agricultural pathogens designed to destroy crop systems, livestock diseases that could devastate food production, and human pathogens that could cause mass casualty bioterrorism attacks. Her biodefense expertise proved crucial for understanding how the program maintained operational security while developing biological weapons, enabling federal authorities to develop comprehensive threat mitigation strategies that could prevent bioterrorism attacks while gathering evidence for prosecution. The federal investigation culminated with coordinated operations involving multiple agencies, targeting the biological weapons facility and associated research networks that SAGE's intelligence gathering had helped authorities understand and penetrate. The operation prevented what could have been catastrophic bioterrorism attacks against American agricultural and civilian targets. Outstanding work, Agent Walsh told SAGE as the seizure and decontamination operations occurred. Your expertise and access enabled us to understand this biological weapons program in ways that would have been impossible without someone who could recognize bioweapons development and assess biological threats. The operations resulted in the arrest of 19 individuals involved in biological weapons research, the seizure and secure disposal of multiple biological agents that could have caused mass casualties, and the prevention of bioterrorism operations that could have devastated American agricultural systems and killed thousands of civilians. The investigation also revealed connections to international bioterrorism networks that had been planning coordinated attacks against multiple countries. Demonstrating the global implications of biological weapons development and the importance of early detection and intervention, your recognition of the biological weapons indicators prevented catastrophic bioterrorism attacks that could have caused agricultural collapse and mass civilian casualties, Agent Walsh explained during case closure. Without early identification and professional threat assessment, these biological weapons programs could have succeeded in causing devastating damage to American national security and public health. The case received classified attention within federal biodefense communities due to ongoing national security implications, but SAGE returned to legitimate agricultural work while maintaining heightened awareness of potential biological threats that might target American farming systems. SAGE returned to sustainable farming with new appreciation for how her biodefense background continued to serve national security in unexpected ways. Her agricultural work had provided crucial early warning of biological weapons threats that might have succeeded without her professional expertise in threat recognition and assessment. 6 months later, SAGE had consulted on 3 additional suspected biological weapons cases, helped train agricultural professionals in recognizing potential bioweapons research indicators, and had become an informal resource for biological threat awareness within American farming communities. People think organic farming is just about sustainable food production, SAGE explained to a confidential briefing of agricultural security professionals. But we're also positioned to recognize when agricultural facilities might be developing biological weapons that threaten both our food systems and our national security. Her farm work had demonstrated that biological weapons programs often used agricultural facilities as cover operations, requiring trained recognition to distinguish between legitimate research and systematic bioweapons development that posed catastrophic threats to American security and public health. 2 years after the original bioweapons investigation, SAGE had helped identify 2 additional suspected biological weapons facilities that attempted to use agricultural research as operational cover. Her CDC expertise, combined with her legitimate access to agricultural research facilities, made her valuable for detecting and disrupting biological threat activities. Her secure phone buzzed with a message from Agent Walsh, suspected bioweapons research identified at agricultural facility in Nebraska. Similar pathogen cultivation patterns to your Iowa case. Available for consultation on biological threat assessment. Sage looked at the healthy livestock in her current farm assignment, then at the agricultural community and nation she served and protected through both sustainable farming and biodefense awareness. I'll review the threat intelligence after evening chores, she texted back. Some careers never completely end, they just find new applications and new ways to serve national security and public health. Sage Rivers, former CDC biodefense specialist, current guardian of agricultural integrity and biological threat prevention, continued her work one healthy farm at a time, one prevented bioterrorism attack at a time, proving that the most important national security operations often begin when someone knows how to recognize biological weapons development disguised as legitimate agricultural research. Sometimes the most crucial biodefense discoveries happen on peaceful organic farms, by people who understand the difference between sustainable agriculture and systematic biological weapons programs designed to cause mass casualties and agricultural devastation. Have you ever noticed research or activities in agricultural settings that seemed unusual or potentially threatening? Share your observations in the comments below, and tell us what city you're watching from today. If this story of hidden biodefense expertise and national security protection inspired you, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Don't miss the compelling stories appearing on your screen right now. Click to discover more tales of everyday heroes who use their backgrounds to protect communities in unexpected ways. Because sometimes the most important biodefense operations begin when someone knows how to recognize biological weapons development hiding within legitimate agricultural operations.
See you in the next videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe.